Hey, look at episode 3 getting Gibbed. You're gonna listen to this, but now I'm gonna burn your house down. Okay.
Get him out of the room.
Get out.
Get him out.
Get out, me bud.
Okay.
Alright, I'm Nick.
I'm Chris.
I'm Chase.
I rise.
Marv out.
Alright, we got a special guest here, DJ and Marvin. Alright.
Special
You
guest.
ruined their code names.
No, I'm sorry.
Their code names are blown.
Oh, God.
Well, the secret identity, Nick.
NSA!
Everybody's in danger.
Get Snowden! Get Snowden!
Get Snowden.
Man's a hero.
Let's talk about some movie trilogies.
Movie trilogies.
What about them?
This is nice.
I like the Aliens trilogies.
This got more than just
I
three
know,
movies,
I know.
but we like to
It's got
pretend. We like to pretend they don't.
Yeah,
Don't we?
some of them didn't really happen.
How about Harry Potter?
Oh, that was pretty
It's
good
like
trilogy.
9 movies.
That's
isn't
like
it?
18 movies and a 2-part miniseries.
I think that was just
old.
a TV show for a while.
He's too old, man.
He got Alzheimer's while he's still in college. Or high
Is
school,
there a
whatever.
Harry Potter college year?
I guess. Yeah,
It's like Saved by the Bell. And then there's Harry Potter, the new class.
I like Back to the Future.
That was pretty good.
It's the greatest trilogy of all time.
Isn't it like this year the future that he went to?
Yeah.
No, it's like next year or something like that.
So
Yeah.
next year we get hoverboard.
Yes.
Was it next year? I thought it was like 2013 or
I think it's like 2023, actually.
with the shark.
No,
Came
I think
out.
it's this year.
I don't know.
I'm just saying, I
Oh,
was
no.
promised hoverboards.
Google,
Yeah, man.
Google check. Google
We
check.
haven't had our single. You guys have the power, man. Was that Brandon
Unless
Lee?
you got
No.
power! It was Brandon Lee.
Oh, it was Jason Lee.
Whatever.
It's one of
It
them
was
Lees.
Lee.
See, most of the movie series I like aren't trilogies. They like I like a
Just
lot
take
of
a single
horror
shot,
stuff that
yeah.
has like. I guess I could kind of say the Freddy movies in that I only really like 3 of them. Like I really like 1, 3, and 4. I guess.
You're talking about Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, the ones that had Nancy in it. I kind
Oh.
of consider that in and of itself a trilogy.
Did you have that thing with Pinface? You like that one?
Yeah, but again, that's
Hellraiser.
another
Hellraiser.
yeah, I really like that, but that's another one. It's got like 8. They don't even number them at this point. Like,
It's like
I have to
Saw.
look at the date to know which ones are in order because they're not in theaters anymore either. There's just I go to Walmart once in a while. I'm like, oh, there's 4 new Hellraiser movies. When did that happen?
2015, by the way.
2015.
2015.
Oh, so
yeah.
2 more years.
2 more years, we get hoverboards.
Awesome.
And 3D jaws biting you in the street, making you mess
Still-
yourself.
Still looks
Remember
fake.
Still looks fake.
Remember that jacket that he had? Like you press the button and it dries you. And it,
Yeah. The
it,
shoes,
like,
too.
adjusts to the- yeah.
The Schnikes.
Was it
Flying
Snake?
cars.
Someone actually made those.
Nah.
Yeah, seriously. There's a video online. You guys can look it up. The Nikes from Back to the Future, they like strap themselves, tighten themselves
That's
up.
awesome.
I saw a mod somebody made on a Grand Theft Auto with like a DeLorean.
Yeah, I seen
And
it.
when you get it above 88 miles an hour, it skips you 6 hours into the future, like in the game. So like
know.
if cops are chasing you, then it just skips you ahead, and you don't have any wanted stars anymore.
I know what else skips you ahead forward 6 hours. It's called sleep.
Yeah. I have a
Yeah,
time
but-
machine.
Yeah, but
it's
nobody does that in the Grand Theft Auto universe.
it goes forward at normal speed.
It's just a box you wrote time machine
Yeah.
on.
Is your time machine somehow better?
But yeah, I definitely like I'm gonna bring it back to the aliens, and I don't know. Is there a third part to the Aliens versus Predator, or was it just 2?
It was just the 2. I kind of like the first one.
It
I think it's
depends.
on
It
fairly
depends
crap.
on how you want to take that, though. There was a video game.
Yeah, but
Well, there
I
were
would
several video games, really.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
consider that part of like the trilogy.
Well, wasn't the new game part of canon?
That's true. Oh my god.
No.
Let's not recall that mess.
Should have been in a cannon.
Banana cannon.
Guess what?
What were we talking about?
What's another one? Oh, DJ wanted to bring up one with what was that, DJ? The Narnias.
I just randomly said Narnia.
Okay, or Narnia.
Is that a trilogy? I don't know. I only saw like the
Yeah,
first one.
there's 3 of them, I think.
I-
like the witch, the wardrobe, and the
And isn't there like
underwear.
something Caspian, Prince Caspian?
Yeah, I think that was on the second one.
I mean, if you're going to talk about trilogies, you got to talk about like Lord of the Rings and Star Wars.
Oh yeah,
That's true.
Did you know who was almost going to play Han Solo?
Who?
Robert Englund, the guy who played Freddy.
Like the original
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was almost going to play Han Solo. in
instead
that.
of Harrison Ford.
See, I think Han Solo only became a big deal in those movies because of Harrison Ford, because he was likable. I think if you look at the script to the original movie, I think Han Solo was supposed to be an unlikable douche.
He was. I mean,
He
if
wasn't
you-
really a hero. He was just this tool bag. I mean, he was kind of a loser at what he did. You know, creditors were chasing him. His ship was falling apart. He
Yeah,
didn't have no
that's
money.
like the same thing with Indiana Jones, though. Isn't he kind of like the sarcastic douche guy?
No way. You don't ever speak
I'm
ill of
sorry,
Indy.
I'm sorry. But he's always sarcastic, like, yeah, okay.
Yes, he's Harrison Ford.
But that's like most of his characters, though.
Harrison Ford is a saint. He's a national treasure.
But yeah, I have to imagine that if Harrison Ford hadn't stole the show as Han Solo, we probably wouldn't have had that reveal that Luke and Leia were brother and sister to get him out of the way so Harrison Ford could be banging with her. Because like the Star Wars movies really felt fast and loose with me. Like it really feels like they were making it up as they went along.
Lucas is in a porta potty writing down the script on a napkin. There's been a minute. Sarlacc pit.
All of a sudden, they found out they're brothers and sisters. Oh yeah!
And then there were teddy bears, angry, smelly teddy bears.
I had a strange childhood.
Speeder bikes for no reasons in the forest.
Yeah, that's a great place to ride a speeder bike.
The Matrix too. The Matrix series is pretty good.
Yeah, but I choose to believe that's just one movie.
It's just
I
the
choose
one
to believe
continuous-
that.
No. Like, is it only the Matrix 1 ever happened?
Yeah, it
2
was
and
just-
3 were butt chunks.
Yeah, 2 and 3 was just a fever dream Neo had one day when he caught a cold. Like,
never
those are
happened.
awful, man.
It's Keanu Reeves though. I mean, how far can you stretch his talent?
Thank you.
Matrix.
Apparently 3 movies.
Matrix Reloaded. I demand it. Matrix refunded. I'm saying Keanu Reeves worked well in the first one because let's face facts. What does Keanu Reeves do all the time? He looks hurt and confused.
Just like Kristen Stewart.
And what
Yes.
did the character in the first Matrix? Well, he was hurt and confused. So I mean, once you get past that, it's like, oh well, now he just looks hurt and confused for no reason.
He looks like the same character he played in Villain 10. It's like, yeah,
That's because that's what
just
Keanu
woke
Reeves
up in
is.
the Matrix, man.
He doesn't even realize he's being filmed. He just like somebody's shooting at you. He's like, "Whoa, am I in the Matrix?"
Let me dodge these bullets. Yeah.
It's funny because you're doing his voice.
Okay, let's talk about trilogies that we hate. Twilight.
Oh, that's
Is that even a trilogy? I thought there were like 9 of those.
Yeah, hasn't that
I
gotten
have
out
no
of hand
idea.
too?
I don't really care. I hate, you know me. I hate Kristen Stewart with a passion.
I just hate anything that wants to take such awesome archetypes as like vampires and werewolves and make them suck.
Just that
But
bad.
then,
Yeah, I got an awesome idea for a werewolf. Oh, what is it? Dogs.
It's a shirtless gay dude
Oh,
who
right.
runs off into the woods with a bunch of other shirtless gay dudes, and then they turn into dogs, and then it gets really freaky.
and then the vampires sparkle for some odd reason in the sun. I don't understand. Like, you know how their skin sparkles because their skin's supposed to be like hard as diamonds, yet they like rip their own heads off easily. Like,
Because
so
they're super vampire strong.
I'm assuming that's. I think I skipped through some of the scenes, and like near the end, like this. Who's that main guy?
That main vampire dude is like 104 or some crap, right?
Yeah.
Why is he still hanging out in a high school? I didn't want to be there when I was in high school. Well, you want to spend what sort of personal hell is that?
Because it's
That
easier
you-
to be the guy with the van trying to get kids to come in with
I
candy
guess,
when you
I
look
just-
their age.
I guess it's just, you know,
This is
people
how
don't
I
see
get
that what
it.
it is. It's a creepy old man macking on a 17-year-old girl.
So how old are
No,
you?
to have it.
400 years old.
Yeah.
Get in my van.
It's like the vampire council cursed him to be in high school for eternity. Just wander from high school to high school, never graduating.
Well, he wanted to have that stupid haircut.
I guess he deserved it.
The haircut that spawned
The Spider-Man.
jokes of haircuts.
Yeah.
The Amazing Spider-Man
The
haircut.
Twilight
The
haircut.
amazing Twilight haircut.
Alright, so the Sonic and the Mega Man comic books have recently started doing a little crossover between the two of them. They're both published by Archie. And it got me thinking, like, it'd be awesome to see a Sonic and Mega Man game.
Yeah.
There's a lot in common between the two.
Did
know?
you
It's
see
a-
one in
Yeah, they're both
basically
blue.
yeah, they're both blue. They both have evil villains that build robots that look like animals.
They're
for some
both
odd reason.
terrorists.
blowing up the factories?
They're both blowing up factories.
Well, one blows up a factory that's not doing anything. The other one goes and finds robots locked in a room and kills them.
Yeah, they're just chilling in their house.
yeah,
He
they
breaks in and kills them.
Think about it. They're just defending themselves the entire time.
he just breaks in and steals their powers. He just-
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Iceman?
Mega Man is just the story of 8 to 9 home invasions per game.
Mega Man's a dick.
He shows up at your house and curb stomps you and steals your leaf shield.
They're always wondering why Dr. Wily's angry all the time.
Well, if Dr. Wily is the villain, that is the world's worst plan for world
Yeah.
domination. I'm gonna take these theme robots and put them in 8 unfurnished rooms in uninhabitable places in the world. And I guess I'll just wait for the UN to call me with their surrender.
That'll show them.
You better surrender. I got these robots hidden in places.
You're gonna have to find them.
Yeah, you have to find them.
Or else nothing will happen.
They're somewhere not hurting nobody.
Somebody call Mega Man quick. Who's in the mood for some murder?
I also would love to see a Sonic and Mario game, and I don't mean like that gay Olympic shit. I mean a real one. Like no,
Like
I don't want
racing
to.
car. Did
No,
they have
just-
a racing car one too?
Well, they have a Mario Kart, but I mean just a real Sonic Mega Man crossover game.
Oh,
just a platformer,
Like a
basically.
side scroller.
Yeah, just give me like Sonic 4 or Mario Wii style.
How would that
graphics
work
and-
though? Because like Sonic moves really fast, Mario is like slow, and he has
Well,
to jump over stuff.
If you look at like some of the older Sonic games where it was like Knuckles and Sonic and all, there were different gameplay. So there were different parts of the level you could reach in each one. Somebody's phone going off in the middle there.
There's a phone. Sorry, Chris.
All right, and where were I? Where am I starting? Where
Where were I?
am I starting over?
We
Where am I
just
starting-
woke up in a dark room.
Yeah, what happened? I'm in the Saul bathroom.
My butt is so numb.
I just woke. There's a dead body handcuffed to a toilet right next to me. I don't.
Why is there a saw here?
You know why?
Okay,
But
so you're
no,
talking about
a Sonic Mario game. That would be great.
a side
You know,
scroller.
And like I said, you'd have different gameplay depending on which character you use. You reach different parts of the level. You know, just your basic, Mario Wii or Sonic 4 level graphics. I think it'd be great.
Isn't what Knuckles like? Can't he like crawl on the walls and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, throw
With
in all
his
the characters
knuckles.
you could. Throw in the little Toad Man, whatever they do.
What do they do?
I don't even know.
This sounds awful.
Well, they're
Oh, you have no respect for the classics.
they're terrible at protecting the princess. That's for sure.
They're good at being in the wrong castle, though.
I mean, I could play a game like that if each character had like its own level. Like if you could swap them out mid-level. Like you go in and move, boop, switch it to like Sonic, switch it to Kirby, switch it to Mega Man. You could swap in and out of characters because you would need their abilities to make it past certain obstacles.
That'd be cool. Almost like that old Animaniacs game on the Sega
Yeah,
Genesis.
like I don't think
where
I'd
you had the
enjoy-
three of them hanging out with you, but you swap
Right.
between the main guys.
Exactly, because I don't think I'd enjoy it if I'm just playing the level, picking a different skin.
Well, see, what I think would be the best way to do, like, let's say you play as Mario through this level. You have to go a certain way as Mario because Mario has different abilities. There's certain areas he can't reach that Sonic could, or Knuckles could, or...
So would you make it lit so that like Mario can just
So
go into tunnels?
it's the same level, but you go different routes depending on which character you use,
Oh, okay.
which is basically the Sonic and Knuckles way.
Yeah.
Sonic could jump higher than Knuckles, so you reach certain things he could. Knuckles could break through walls. Different gameplay per each different thing, and I think it would work well.
For me, I'd say like Mega Man and Metroid. I don't know if they're kind of the same thing now, but like Mega Man can use his dog. What's his dog's name?
Rush.
Yeah, and then like Metroid could roll into a ball and get to like certain areas.
I wouldn't mind seeing a Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat.
I would play that.
Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
How would that work? Though I've never seen like Ryu get super violent. I mean, they're violent and all, but
Well, I mean,
how would
You
they do
don't have to
finishers?
get super violent. I mean, the people who made Mortal Kombat made DC versus
Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It just seems like they were the two main fighting franchises when I was growing up. So, for the nostalgic purposes, I'd love to see it.
How about like that what was that battle monster things where you fight on buildings and stuff?
Well, Rampage.
Yeah, Rampage. What if you mixed it up with like what was that one Beast game that we used to play where you're like a wolf?
Altered Beast.
Was it Altered Beast
I vaguely remember that
or
game.
something like that? Okay, we could mix it up. Altered Beast and Rampage.
I remember people thought it was satanic.
Was it really?
Yeah.
I don't know why even. It's the Beast. It's
Because
more
you
than a
can
beast, I guess.
transform.
I'd like to see something that's a little bit more like different. Like Chris and like you guys are saying like putting stuff together that's like, oh well, these kind of go together. I'd like to see something that does not go together. You know what I mean? Like
Sounds like a train wreck.
no, I mean I'm just saying like if you're gonna do something, you do something like different, do something fun. Like even though I guess it was a Robot Chicken sketch, put Super Mario in Resident Evil, survival horror with these characters.
I think
you
it
know
would be called Luigi's Mansion.
what I mean? Well,
Luigi's Mansion.
I guess
Zombie toads coming at you.
that'd be awesome. I don't know, stuff like that.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Grand Theft Auto Mushroom Kingdom.
Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah.
You get to play as Bowser. Your point is to kidnap the princess and kill everything.
I'm saying just something different. You know what I mean?
I can see that.
I don't know. I think it'd be cool.
Stealing go-karts in the Mushroom Kingdom.
Instead of getting a gun, you get a flower.
Yeah.
Fireball.
Burn people. Looks like a flamethrower coming out of your hand.
He is not. The princess is not in this building.
right, so a lot of comic books been turned into video games throughout the years. Sonic's had a lot of success at Archie. Arguably, Archie has done more interesting things with him than Sega has. Mega Man's over at Archie. Before that, years ago, he was at Dreamwave. A lot of Capcom properties were at Dreamwave before they folded.
Yeah.
You know, Tomb Raider had a big success for him. Valiant used to do Nintendo. There's been a lot of them. And what are some video games that you would, if you heard there was a comic book coming out of it, you would be there like the day it was on sale. You'd be like, that I'm going to buy. I want to read that.
I know Mega Man, but isn't there like an ongoing Mega Man?
Yeah, Archie's doing Mega Man right now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a pretty solid book too.
It's one of the best all ages books out there.
Metroid. But then again, that's another like Mega Man.
To be honest,
thing.
I'm actually surprised Nintendo doesn't go to Archie.
Yeah.
Are we talking about like all ages books or anything?
Anything.
Okay.
Anything. But yeah, I'm surprised Nintendo doesn't go to Archie because Sega and Capcom are having such success with him. I think Nintendo I think Archie would do great stuff for almost all of Nintendo's properties.
That's true.
I mean, I think there's a new Tomb Raider one coming out from Dark Horse. I think it's only downloadable right now, which I don't do.
Okay.
Like I said,
that wasn't like the one.
I don't do downloadable content, so I'm not gonna.
That wasn't like the one with Witchblade, was it?
No, that was Top Cow did that years ago. This is
okay.
based more on the new, more grounded game.
The new Lara Croft.
Yeah.
The less robust.
Robust. Yeah,
First
I like
jubbly
that.
one, or as I call it, the less fun one.
Oh.
Take that, feminist frequency. I mean, as far as all ages stuff goes, I'd like to see an ongoing Link comic. Like not like oh, it's in the Mario comic once a. No, I'm talking about like a Link's own ongoing series. I think I would read that absolutely.
If there was either Mario or Zelda, if there was a new comic based on any of this, I'd get them. But if I knew Archie was doing it, I'd be like, oh, the first day.
Yeah.
I'd be there when the comic book store opens. Like, where is it? Give it to me now.
Pushing little kids out of the way.
Get out of here, you brat. You're not down with the NES.
You don't understand the old people.
You don't understand the old people.
The geriatrics.
I was down with Link since it was 8-bit. It looked like crap, but I loved it.
You weren't there for the hard times.
Yeah, you don't get to enjoy it now.
The 8 bits. You and your high definition.
It barely looked like anything.
It's like a block on the screen.
It's bird's eye, but somehow I'm looking at him standing up straight.
All right. Not only do I want to see this, but if anybody in the comic book industry listens to this at all, I challenge you to make a Red Dead Redemption comic book.
That'd be great.
So Western comics, like, and the story in Red Dead Redemption was so good that that the early exploits of John Marston would be a phenomenal premise for a comic book.
Yeah. I'd say maybe some Dark Souls too.
Dark Souls would be great.
Yeah. I mean, there wasn't really much of a story there.
But you could build one, and also the Dark Souls art style lends itself well to comic books.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Isn't it more like Redemption, kind of?
Yeah,
like you're a lost soul and you're trying to bring your body back.
Sort of.
I don't know. I got like 5 minutes into the game and I quit because I rage quit.
You and a lot
that
of
would be
people.
good.
Yeah.
You and a lot of people.
Assassin's Creed would be good.
They have some ongoing, I think.
Oh, that's right, they do. They do have
they
on.
tie in
That's right.
between the series.
I know that
year.
McFarlane did the poster for the Black Flag.
Yeah, the new one.
Yeah,
I have it. I pre-ordered.
It's nice.
It was nice. What about you, Chris?
There's a lot of Capcom. Like I wouldn't mind seeing some Street Fighter stuff done again.
That's true.
I really like Dreamwave before they folded. They did a lot of cool stuff with Capcom properties. I wouldn't mind seeing some more of that, like Darkstalkers and.
They did.
I actually think it's a shame there was never a Marvel vs. Capcom comic book. I mean, the 3 games.
Yeah, you would think,
and that's not even counting like X-Men and Street Fighter and all that kind of stuff.
I think a lot of that stuff is tough, though, guys. Like, especially when you get into fighting games, because there's really no story to follow.
Yes, but
like,
I mean, there's such strong characters. I think
you
can get something out of it.
There's strong characters. I don't know. I guess maybe if they got a good story behind it to push through.
Really, you can start it off like Mega Man at like Chinatown, trying to buy a donut.
Yeah, I guess the hardest part of doing a Marvel vs. Capcom thing would be establishing a quote-unquote Capcom universe. Like, you basically, you got a universe that has Darkstalkers, Street Fighter, Resident Evil, and Mega Man all go, and just to name a few, all going on in the same world.
Like, how does
you'd think they would have called Mega Man in to deal with all that Resident Evil stuff since you can't get infected. We need you to blow up some zombies. Just use that little, like, coffee can gun hand of yours and blow them all away. It's cool. They're not alive. It's not going to hurt your don't kill people programming.
Yeah, don't worry. If you die, you just blink,
they're not,
explode, and
yeah,
come
they're
back to
not
life.
spikes. They're not going to hurt you.
Yeah, they're not like tin hats or whatever those things were on the ground.
How about you?
Me? Dark Souls. I think they already did a Halo one.
I think they did a Halo comic, but I don't think there's an ongoing.
Yeah.
Would you read an ongoing? I mean, are you like that big of a fan of Halo?
I'm not a big fan of like the game. I like the story though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a guy. It's basically like Tony Stark. The story behind their armor, like how they go through the
I gotcha.
armor, they go through these regiments and they have to like biotically enhance themselves.
Right. I mean, some of these things do pretty good. I've enjoyed the Mass Effect comic that's out.
Oh,
I
didn't even know they made one.
Oh yeah, Mass Effect is pretty cool.
I remember when the Tomb Raider comic first came out, the old one. They put Tomb Raider, put Lara Croft in the Top Cow universe with characters like Witchblade and Darkness. And I kind of followed Witchblade, but not too much, just because I was a kid and money was a little tight. But I remember seeing like you could order the Witchblade Tomb Raider comic, and I was just like, "There's a Tomb Raider comic? Like this is what I'm all about right now. Until I get this, life will not be complete." But yeah, I remember you had to mail in and order it.
You know what would be pretty cool? Skyrim, the Elder Scrolls.
Yeah, I was going to say Elder Scrolls, but I didn't want to be all like super nerdy because I already brought a
They got
blanket.
a lot of background in every like single book in the game. Even
Yeah.
those are some really nice stories.
The Elder Scrolls is so like lore rich that you could really do a lot with it.
Plus, I don't know if there's a lot of fantasy like themed comic books out there besides Conan and like all the other
There
ones.
is.
And there's Red Sonja, Red Dynamite.
Yeah.
Well, there's Pathfinder, there's Dungeons and Dragons, there's Elric,
Is that still
there's Northmen, there's Hack and Slash.
But
Oh, I'm sorry, not Hack and Slash. There's Skull Kickers.
Yeah, Hack and Slash.
Yeah, sorry. They're out there, but I mean, I guarantee you, none of them have Elder Scrolls lore behind them to build off of.
Speaking of horror, I would think like Silent Hill or Resident Evil
Yeah,
would make
that'd be
fine
pretty
comic
cool
books.
too.
Yeah,
There's
especially with the horror resurgence in comic books. Like the whole zombie thing is huge right now in comic
Is
books.
it?
Oh yeah.
Oh, because of The Walking Dead.
Walking Dead made that explode.
Yeah, Marvel Zombies beyond that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff that should be able to be done. Like I'm surprised that like you couldn't get more like a comic book out of stuff like oh man, what was the name of that video game where you're like in a mall?
Oh, Dead Rising.
Dead Rising, stuff like that.
What would
That's
be a
another
video? What would be a
Capcom.
video game you would absolutely, if you were a comic book writer and they came to you with this project, what would be a video game you'd be hating life to try to stretch this into a comic book? I mean, fighting games in general would probably you basically just have to take those characters and make up your own story.
I think
Like you mean like you can freely create the backgrounds? Or?
But yeah, if they offered you like write this into a comic book, what would be something where you're like, I have no idea what I'm doing with this?
Yeah, like you said, fighting games.
I think something like Cubert would be a living nightmare.
Or Pac-Man.
Yeah, like what do you?
It's just, by now, like the 6th episode, he'd be like a morbidly obese guy.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Even like you said, like fighting games. How do you put them in situations where they're constantly fighting? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh, he cut in front of me in the soda machine. Dun, 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 dun. Like,
You almost just gotta establish who are good guys and who are quote unquote bad guys.
You know what
And even there, it's kind of blurry in a lot of those games.
You know what you could do? You could do like a real world Street Fighter.
Yeah, they all have to live in a house together
Here comes
and
the
get
guy.
along.
That might actually be funny if you put them in like a real world situation.
They all have to, they're not allowed to fight. It's Street Fighter, no fighting. The miniseries.
Working through their feelings.
And Bison's like, who the hell drank my Pepsi?
Right? He was like, no, I don't know.
Blanca doesn't even open it, he just bites the can to drink.
That'd be hilarious.
People are trying to plug their phone into Blanca to charge it.
That's pretty good.
I'd pay to see that. Alright, so everybody knows about this whole DRM thing. If you don't know, let me do a little fluff page for everybody. The DRM policy for Xbox One is basically you have to log in within 24 hours or else you can only play your game for an hour. Well, recently Xbox and Microsoft retracted their whole DRM policy and they did a complete 180.
Xbox 180.
Yeah, that's what Chris told me that's what everybody's calling Xbox One is Xbox 180 now.
That makes sense.
So what do you guys think? Is this like a big success? For
I mean,
the
I
No,
game?
think-
it's you know what? It's not, because even though they retracted their policy, there's still a lot of problems with the Xbox. I mean, they've basically been trounced by PlayStation and Sony at this point. Like it's anything they do now is just them being like, oh, we're sorry. And but unless they adjust the big problems, there's bigger problems in that policy. The fact that you can't share games.
I think they reversed that too.
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
or
You
at
can
least
actually.
Did they reverse that?
Yeah, you can share games now.
Man.
The
Yeah.
point is,
So
though,
the PlayStation How to Share Games video went
Yeah.
pretty far, didn't it?
well, the point is though, I mean, let's face facts. They're not in direct competition with the Wii U. That's another market. That's
No,
the
the Wii's got nothing to do with either of them.
yeah, that's the casual gamer, retro gamer kind of market. PlayStation and Microsoft are in competition with each other for that other slot. And at this point, I mean, the momentum's on PlayStation side.
Yeah.
Because it almost doesn't matter. Like, Xbox has kicked you in the mouth, and now they're like, oh, we're sorry, and, we take it back. But the damage has kind kind of done. Like, they've already, in a sense, lost the trust.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, what can they really say at this point?
Nothing.
Like, oh, yeah, we're sorry we tried to bend you over. We promise we won't do it again.
That's it, because that's the problem. It's who says that they're not going to change their policies after you already dropped the money on that item, you know?
Well, the only thing I'm scared too is like they could just be doing this just for sale. So once they make their quota or once they sold enough units, they could just change the policy back.
Exactly.
And like, hey, guess what? Fuck you guys.
Yeah, exactly. This next generation of gaming belongs to Sony.
Yeah.
It's the way it is.
I was definitely an Xbox gamer for like the longest time. Since the very first Xbox One, not the original Xbox One, not the Xbox One now.
Xbox
But,
180.
Yeah, but yeah, I think I'm switching back to PlayStation this time around.
Yeah, I think Sony is definitely the way to go. And I remember I didn't even like the first Xbox. I didn't dislike it. I just wasn't as big a fan as I was the PlayStation and the PlayStation 2. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. And then the Xbox 360 came out. I'm like, this is really good. All the games went to 360.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to bet you're going to see another shift, like how all the games went to 360. I bet you all these publishing houses for these games are going to start pushing them back towards PlayStation because they're not going to want to sell their games on a console that's not going to sell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? PlayStation not only is it leagues ahead of Xbox in terms of a lot of the things that it does, but it's also $100 cheaper.
Yeah, it is.
That's the biggest thing, because you know after Xbox wouldn't stuck their foot in their mouth, some dude over at Sony ran back and said, "Drop the price, cut it $100."
Yeah,
cut it $100.
That's the thing, because like the whole like $500 thing is included with the Kinect, so. And the policy where the Kinect's always connected, it hasn't changed yet.
Yeah,
So
I don't
still-
like that at all.
Yeah, that's a little too big brother for me.
You know, especially with all the NSA crap going on right
Yeah.
now that's coming to light, which, I mean, anybody who
there's
paid
no
attention
way.
should have already
Yeah.
known about that. But now that it's more proven that that's going on, I mean, you essentially got an NSA webcam in your room.
Yeah.
You know, at the very least, you got a Microsoft spying on you webcam in your room.
Yeah, actually, ever since that all came out, I actually unplugged my Kinect.
Did
Like,
you
I don't use my
Well,
Kinect.
I actually tried to unplug a Kinect, and it said, "What are you doing, Chris?" I'm afraid I can't let you do that, and it sprayed me with knockout gas and tasered me, and I woke up with I just don't go in that room anymore. I shut the door, like, nope, that's a storage room.
I'm doing this for your own good, Chris.
There's Men in Blacks in the room. They're like, well, "What's going on here? You
Black helicopters are flying over his house.
You trying to disconnect the Kinect? No, man.
Got a drone following me everywhere now.
Doors are command. I don't trust it. I mean, I'm sure they're doing it because they finally listened. Like we always theorized that this was just a big joke. You know, I was hoping at E3 they'd say like, "Oh, this is we got you guys. This is like we weren't really doing this," but no. At E3 they were still
Well, they were
headstrong
on
about
track
it.
to probably have the worst selling console of all time. I mean, you know, make the Atari Jaguar sound like a great success.
Like the Commodore stock
This
just
is
went up.
this
And
is-
it isn't like that old.
So somebody went in that building and they were like, "I want to be like the X32. Let's make this happen."
Well, yeah, I think this is definitely a big step for gamers. I mean, they always tried to voice their anger, and
Right.
all these companies never listened, but now they finally did.
Well, that's because I think this time they realized that the gamers were going to hit them where it hurt, and
Yeah.
that was the wallet. I mean, they weren't going to pay for it. Gamers are normally like, "Oh, I don't like this," but they're still out dishing out the money for it
Yeah.
every time it comes out. But I think there was enough people where they were like, "You know what? I'm going to buy a PlayStation," and they realized, you know what? They're right. You know, like we need to fix this, or else we're going to destroy this company.
I will admit they kind of came into this whole campaign kind of cocky and saying,
Oh, yeah.
we're gonna be PS4 hands down."
Well, they were so high on the hog for so long. You know what I mean? Because they were dominating
Game
since
market,
Xbox,
yeah.
the first Xbox. You know what I mean?
I don't know about that. PS2. I knew more people had PS2 than
Well, no.
ever.
When it
But
first
the-
came out,
the
the PS2 was still popular.
Yeah.
But you got to remember, PS2 came out before Xbox. You know what I mean? So, but then when Xbox
I
started
think it
catching
was.
on,
I think
all
it
those
wasn't until
games,
360.
all
that
those
Xbox
games, well,
became huge.
I think it was towards the end of the first Xbox. A lot of games started switching over, and then when the next game convention, when they're saying, "Oh, this is Xbox 360," look at the list of games, and there was like 15 pages more than they were going to the Xbox or PS3. They're like, "Well, I think we know who wins."
PS3 was like, "Oh, we got Blu-rays."
Yeah, that was
I mean,
that was so
That
dumb.
was 7 years ago, and to this day, I own one Blu-ray.
Clearly, they fired that
You
guy.
actually have a Blu-ray?
I actually do. I couldn't find. I wanted Ted with all the extra bonus features,
Nice.
and I couldn't find it on DVD. And the last DVD player I bought happens to have Blu-ray on it, so I was like, I guess I'll just get the Blu-ray.
Might
And
as well.
To this day, I regret it because I look at it on the shelf next to my other movies, and it's all short, and the box is all different. I'm like, I hate you, Blu-ray.
Yeah, man.
I hate you, Blu-ray box.
You're all small and short and thin.
Don't
Nothing
you
a
wanna
woman wants.
see-
Yeah, you're not. Yeah.
Don't you want to
You're
see?
embarrassed by these other ones.
Don't you want to see Morgan Freeman's extra freckles on his face?
Yeah.
In the high definition.
I don't even think
Blu-ray?
I have that high definition.
Y'all can look at my freckles on this DVD. That's Blu-ray. That's the last thing I ever saw him. He was my best friend.
We have a special guest here, Morgan Freeman.
Every time he shows up, he gets a new freckle.
Every time you watch my movies, an angel gets a freckle.
Yeah, I'm really glad that they actually pulled this off.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
We'll have to see though. We have to sit back and watch this.
I still think they're dead last.
Yeah.
Everything,
I still think PlayStation owns them, and again, the Wii is its own niche. So
and everyone needs to remember too. At the same time, the computer gamers are basically standing in the circle around these two. You know, watching them fight to the death. Yeah. You know, dance, little monkeys. Like it's.
I have everything. You have nothing.
Because PC games, I mean, that's personally, I think that's where it's at. But that's me. I like PC games.
Speaking of, you hear what Steam's doing?
No, what's Steam?
You can actually share your libraries now. Well, not right now, but they're
it's planning
on it. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
See, and then here we go. Once again, like we're fighting. Oh, Xbox, PlayStation, PC's like fuck you. Hey, you
can share your games now with other people, which is really nice.
That's really awesome.
There was a time when PC games was all I had because like my dad always was kind of anti-video game. Oh, they're stupid. And like he bought me a Sega Genesis, and then like PlayStation 1's coming out and all.
Nothing like some DOS gaming.
Yeah, he's all like, nope, I'm not getting you that. But for some reason, he was okay with buying games for the computer because the computer was different.
It's educational. /run.
Yeah, it's like it's educational, and it's like I've got the first Tomb Raider and the first Oddworld game, but somehow that's different than if I had it on PlayStation. And I think at around 2000, like I still didn't have a system, so I got that Spider-Man game that Activision made. And when I go back and play them on PS1 now, because I have a PS2, I got one back in 05. I'm like, man, the graphics on the PC were way better.
Oh yeah.
I mean, certainly that late 90s, early 2000 graphics weren't great.
Yeah.
They were still pretty polygony, but I mean, wow, I can barely tell what the Spider-Man costumes are.
That's how it
version.
always is with computers. The computers are always the benchmark.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, they're always
They always have the top technology.
Exactly, because and sometimes people were like, oh well, the new console is going to be even better looking than PC.
No,
and I'm like, it's impossible.
They're
You can
way
constantly
beyond
change.
that.
You
Yeah.
can constantly change the
The
graphics
point is,
card.
even if it is, it's that way for a month.
Yeah, it won't be
You know
for
what I mean?
long.
Not only that, but about like the Oculus technology that they have.
PC is. I love gaming on a PC. If you want to play a game and you want it to be visually beautiful, you got to play it on PC. That's just the way it is. I mean, what was that game? What was that game that you had showed me?
Far Cry.
Far Cry, and then
Far Cry 3?
and Crisis.
Yeah.
Those games look amazing on a PC.
But yeah, I'm really glad that PC used to be DRM kinda.
Right.
With the whole Steam thing, but then again, they also have like sales and stuff like that. And now that you can share, it's like basically you can trade your games with your buddies and stuff. So I'm glad.
It is indeed a most bountiful harvest. Well, since we're on the subject of video games and systems and stuff like that, and we had talked about comic books earlier, how about your favorite superhero video games? Your favorite, the ones that you think are underrated, and the ones that you think are just dumpster fire bad.
Well, my favorite, and I mean, obviously, it's from 2000, so obviously it's not comparable to modern ones, but the first Activision Spider-Man game. It was the first one, because, I mean, you go back to, like, Genesis and Super Nintendo superhero games, and they're rough.
Was that free roam?
It was,
Yeah,
it was a
GTA.
3D,
right?
Yeah.
it was a 3D environment, but it wasn't sandbox. The
Okay.
levels were very predetermined. And it was one of the first ones where I felt like I'm Spider-Man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was, and there were so many villains in it. I mean, the ending of it is Doc Ock possessed by the Carnage symbiote.
That's pretty awesome.
So I mean, and there was so much hidden stuff. That was one of the ones I had on the PC, but it was on PlayStation 1 too. And there's so many PlayStation 2 level game. To me, it seems like almost the golden age of superhero games. Because when the technology finally got good enough that you could do different stuff, like I have so many on the PlayStation 2 that I still play. Like a lot of ones that like a lot of people either ignored, like the Ghost Rider game that was loosely based on the movie, and I say very loosely. It was more based on the comic book. I mean, Ultimate Alliance. I mean, X-Men Legends 1 and 2, and obviously all the different Spider-Man games Activision did.
Didn't they have like a Wolverine on the PS2?
They did. I think it was based on like X-Men 3, but it was called
Yeah.
Wolverine's Revenge. It was supposedly based on X-Men 3 movie, but it was more based on the comic. I mean, you fought like Wendigo and stuff like that.
That's
right.
But it was honestly Ultimate Spider-Man that got me to break down and finally go buy a PlayStation 2. This
Right.
was in like 05.
And that's what I'm thinking of. That's the game I'm thinking of. That's the one where it was like sandbox.
It
free
wasn't
roam.
the first sandbox. Spider-Man 2, based on the movie, was the
Okay.
first sandbox one. But Ultimate Spider-Man was amazing because all of it, everything in it, nothing looked polygony or computer generated. It all looked like a cartoon based on Mark Bagley's art,
That's cool.
which was amazing.
Well, I like Hulk Ultimate Destruction.
Oh, that's so much fun.
That game, yeah, that's
another PlayStation 2 era one.
Right, and I think it's underrated because I never hear anyone talk about it.
Yeah,
but it's so much fun because like while there's a story, if you just want to run around and trash stuff as the Hulk, you can run around and trash stuff as the Hulk.
It's almost like Hulk Grand Theft Auto because once you get to a certain point, you're like, screw the story. I just want to wreck this town.
Hulk indeed smash.
Yeah,
like that's that. I think that's just that game is such a blast.
Yeah, I like the thing where he like takes a car, smashes it, and uses them as gloves.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Or when he goes to critical mass and destroys everything.
Ultimate Alliance was a lot of fun. I mean, I know it was just a standard kind of melee or
it was a top down.
But I mean, just the fact that you could assemble your own team. You know, you could be like, I want a team of Ghost Rider and Spider-Man and the Thing and Captain America. You know, I mean, you had all these characters to pick from, was what made it so awesome.
Right.
And you fought like every villain in the Marvel universe. You know, everyone from the Scorpion to Galactus to Fing Fang Foom.
It was a fun game.
For me, I'd say I don't know if this is an actual comic book character, but it's in the same vein as Hulk Ultimate Destruction prototype.
Right.
I mean, I know it's not like a comic book character,
but it's a superhero game.
It is
it's almost like you combined. It's almost like a Hulk and symbiote kind of combination to them.
Yeah. How about some superhero games you just hate, Chris?
Well, I honestly hate Maximum Carnage.
That's just because it's hard.
Oh, it's so hard. It's a ball buster. But honestly, a lot of the early like Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo superhero games were just balls. I mean, part of it was at the time, if you had a licensed game, nobody put much thought into it. They're like, screw it, people are gonna buy it because it's Superman or
slap the brand on
Batman or whatever.
Right.
But I mean, most of them are just. I mean, I played a Superman game on a Sega Genesis the other day. I bought for like $1 somewhere, and I paid way too much. If they'd have given me $1 to take it, I'd have paid way too much. Because it's just like, you ever read a Superman comic and think this would be way better if he was A, little pussy bitch, and B, just walked around on rooftops getting his ass kicked by like Roombas and toasters. Like, there's all these generic looking robots, and like everything does ridiculous amounts of damage to you. You can't do nothing. You can't fly or anything. It's just the early ones are rough.
What's the point of playing Superman if you can't fly?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Speaking of, I know everybody hated the Superman N64 version.
Yeah,
where the controls was horrendous.
I heard the controls are really bad. I mean, at least that one tried to give you the different powers. It wasn't just like Double Dragon with Superman skin.
For me, I'd say like, remember Batman Returns? I don't know if it was the Val Kilmer or the
Batman Forever was the Val Kilmer one.
Okay, it was one of those, the movie tie-in ones. I think it was Bat Nipples or something like that.
I kind of like the first Batman movie tie-in for the NES.
Which one?
It was just Batman, like it was from the first movie, but it was for the old 8-bit Nintendo.
Was it the one with the Catwoman?
No, it was Joker. It was the first movie. But yeah, it was alright. I mean, for that era kind of game. But I mean, I don't think it's till like PlayStation 2 era that superhero games really got good. I mean, really, where it all felt like you're playing as that character.
Well, to be honest, I don't think you could really do a free roam with 8-bit.
Well, obviously, but I mean, you could at least try to simulate some stuff in it.
Like a side-scrolling free roam.
Right. I think the X-Men arcade game was awful.
X-Men arcade game?
I thought it was awful.
I love that arcade game.
Really?
But then I'm a fan. I was always, at least at that time, a big fan of those style arcade games where I call them the Double Dragon clones, where you're basically fighting your way down the street as the various characters.
You know what? I'm thinking of the wrong game.
You're talking about the Avengers?
I'm talking about the Avengers.
Oh, the
game.
Avengers one was awful.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everybody. That's what I was thinking of.
I got that. I had never played it back when it was around, but I found a used copy from my Super Nintendo. I thought this would be fine. It'd be like the X-Men arcade game, but with the Avengers, and therefore better because I like the Avengers more. It's awful. The sound effects and the voices in it. Whenever your guy gets hit, seriously, he's like, no.
Didn't they have the Vision in that one?
Yeah, it was
Hawkeye.
Captain America, Hawkeye, the Vision, and Iron Man, and they all played identically. Like Captain America throws an infinite number of shields. You know, Hawkeye has an infinite number of arrows. Vision has his little eye lasers, and Iron Man has his repulsors. So basically, they all have punch, kick, and range weapon.
I know I think it was Dorkly Bits, but they did like a parody of that game where Captain America goes like, "Oh, don't do drugs, kids," and then like Hawkeye goes like, "Well, that's your superpower. You did drugs. You got steroids."
He basically just got military grade steroids.
I hope you guys enjoyed this segment.
Like us on Facebook.
Follow us on Twitter.